What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Social Rejectz podcast. We're your co-hosts, Rob and KB, but you already knew that. If this is your first time tuning in, we are two dope black dudes who created the podcast that you didn't know you needed. On the agenda today, we are going to be discussing rumors, what happens when you do not mind your business, conspiracies, and why people care so much about other people's business in the first place. Due to shelter in place, we are not recording from our home-based studio, so please excuse any background noise if you should hear any. So let's jump right into these topics, starting with rumors.
I
Rumors,
love them.
rumors, rumors. You love rumors?
I love all. I
Why,
love all of them
why do you love rumors, KB?
because it makes for great humor.
Explain.
Whenever the celebrities die and then they start trending on Twitter, the
Why,
hashtags.
how did we jump to celebrities dying?
Because those are some of the best rumors.
You're not wrong about that.
And then the hashtags. Oh, it makes it so worth it.
People do tend to blow things way out of proportion, especially when it comes to celebrity life. I think that's because they secretly just want to live vicariously, so they want to kind of include themselves in any details of the person's life as possible. But
I
the
feel like
problem
that's
is that
human
none of that
nature
stuff is
almost.
accurate. It's human nature.
I feel like living vicariously through other people, depending on what it is, seems like human nature. I feel like everybody does that to some extent. And rumors makes it even easier to try to mask the fact that you're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you're mad that Justin Bieber, who's like always dying in the media of a drug overdose or whatever, even though that's not accurate. He's young, has all these cars and all this stuff solely off his voice. He doesn't even have to write the actual songs.
Mm-hmm.
So people might be envious of this, but also want to live through that. So they figure if they can get a reaction based off a rumor, that'll bring
Some type of gratification to them.
gratification to them, but also it'll bring fan base to them.
It gives them opportunity to ride the wave and get the attention that celebrity should
Right.
or should not be getting by them creating it.
Right.
Kind of like a clout surf engine, basically.
Right. Like that's literally what music has become nowadays anyway, just clout based. Like rappers making diss tracks about other rappers, not because they'd have the actual issue with that rapper, but because that rapper's on a wave and they're trying to jump on that same wave.
Okay. So, but what about rumors about people that are not celebrities?
Like regular people?
Yeah.
So this is the thing. I feel like if you're gonna go out your way to make a rumor about somebody, at least make it a rumor based off some kind of truth so that it's not easily exposed that it's a rumor. Half the times people be making them rumors. Like the most common ones I think of is like when we're in school and people make up rumors about who other people sleep with.
Mm-hmm.
But then you gotta think, what's the reason behind said rumor? Are they trying to expose this person as something that they're not? But if that's the case, then what's the benefit?
That's a really important point because it brings more attention to the fact of what was the reason why this rumor was started in the first place, who started it and why, versus what the actual content of the rumor is.
Right.
Because there's some value there. There's something to be said for the fact that even though we hear this information, it comes to us on the internet via word of mouth, whatever. There's something to be said that the original person created this out of nowhere.
Literally from their brain.
I don't want to say for no reason, but you got to be feeling pretty low about yourself to create a lie about someone and hope that it spreads and still reap no attention for it because you're not getting attention for the rumor.
I can see that, but then it just makes me think, what about people that spread rumors about themselves?
That's true too.
Because then at that point, then it makes me go even deeper into it. Like, when does a rumor stop being a rumor and a rumor becomes like an urban legend or a rumor becomes a stereotype?
Right. That's a good point too. I didn't think about people that start rumors about themselves. I wonder how much of the celebrity gossip started by
I feel like all of that, like, because that comes from the same premise as all publicity is good publicity.
right.
Like, regardless of what you're in the news for, if you're a celebrity, it's all for your benefit because it brings attention to you as a brand or as a creator or actor, actress, blah, blah, blah. But even with that, it's like, why not just do the work?
Right.
Like, if you want the rumor to be that you're this world-renowned songwriter, you wrote all these songs, whether it's true or not, why not just write the songs?
Well, I kind of feel like with the logic that a rumor is just spreading like fire, it's sometimes less work to get the same type of publicity to just create a rumor about yourself than it is to actually create a reason for people to talk about you.
Right, right.
Or you have already tried to create the reason for people to talk. You created a new album. You already started a new project, but nobody is talking about it.
And that's where like the industry beef comes into play, because I feel like a lot of that is staged in order to get people up. Like even J. Cole was talking about that in that song Middle Child.
Mm-hmm.
He had a line where he said, if I come for another rapper, it's not going to be for clout. It's not going to be because he said my name in a song or try to get in my lane. It's not because his albums are outselling my albums.
Right.
He said it's going to be for something legit. Like, it's going to be an actual reason for it.
It's going to be an actual ass whipping.
Right.
This is going to be real life action. That's crazy. All right, so let's move forward. Let's talk about what happens when people don't mind their business. This is a problem that we have as a human race. We do not mind our business. And I've said this before, I don't get it. I typically keep a pretty busy schedule, so I don't have time to really be worried about what other people are doing in their lives. I don't know if that's because I'm extremely busy or if that's because I have my own goals, but I can't imagine a world where I'm occupying my thoughts, sitting and thinking about what somebody else is doing or how they're doing it.
I mean, like, that whole premise to me is just weird.
Right.
Like, what is it about somebody else's business that you care that much about?
I don't know, man.
And then you also got to break down, when is it someone not minding their business and when is it someone going too far on what they think they should be doing? You know, like a stranger in another stranger's conversation, you need to mind your business. Like, facts. But
the whole fact.
But in terms of like family dynamic, when is a significant, not a significant, when is like a cousin or aunt or uncle's relationship or lifestyle become your business?
That's true too. You got to find where's the boundary, basically.
Right. So like in certain situations, like, because you know I always like to go dark, like domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
The family knows.
Right.
Especially if there's any kind of communication with the family knows 100% at the time. Then when is that line for minding your business start and finish?
Right.
Because an argument here and there, I can see the argument being, well, just mind your business. People argue. It's part of being in a relationship.
Right.
But when that argument stops being verbal and becomes physical, are you still just minding your business?
Or are you just looking the other way?
Or are you just ignoring a real life problem
yeah,
that you should probably be fixing?
Intervening, yeah.
Right. So, but for stranger purposes, that's the easy one. Mind your business. It's that simple. Why are you concerned with something? A person you know nothing about. B, probably a topic related to the person you know nothing about. So even if you know about the topic generally, you may not know how that particular topic is in relationship to the person in which you're being nosy. That's really all it is. You're being nosy.
That's true. I would imagine that people are being nosy because they don't have any business of their own.
Now, sometimes, I just thought about that. Sometimes, drama is an attention seeker.
Now,
like, you ever been out, like, for real. And anyone that's listening, they can definitely reach out in the comment section and hit us up on all our social media platforms and answer this question. How many of us have been in a situation where you're in a semi-public environment, whether it be a movie theater, out to a restaurant, something like this, and you hear two people arguing about the craziest thing, and you can't help but to just be like, oh, did you hear what they just said? What? That's crazy.
Right. Getting yourself into some mess.
Right. See, now you're not minding your business.
You're not minding your business. I feel like we're all guilty of it at some point.
Sometimes it's not the fault of the person who can't mind their business. Sometimes they're in situations where it's like you don't got a choice but to listen. It's like
sometimes people put that out there because they want you to mind their business.
Right, they really want you. They like the confrontation, so they'll set it.
And they
so
like
they'll
the
set it
attention
up.
for it.
Right, so they'll set it up to be like, oh, people are going to listen. The first person that say something crazy, I'm going off. Nah, you set yourself up for that, and I hope the person that say something to you knock you smooth out.
Smooth. People definitely do that. There's a conflict of, like you said, not minding your business versus knowing where the boundary is. But then there's this proactive stirring the pot because you want attention for that conflict. Right. And I feel like that's equally as bad as
the
not minding somebody's business. That's basically like you're passively not minding your business by stopping people from minding their business.
Right.
You're them into some business,
our business, and we don't care.
And your business is not even really your business because it's probably not real.
You manifested it in order to get the attention.
Exaggerated this whole entire argument,
which goes back to people starting rumors about themselves.
People starting rumors about themselves
to bring attention to something that's not really there because they're attention seekers.
That's a shame. That's embarrassing. So now let's get into conspiracies. How do you feel about conspiracy theorists?
I feel like, just like with other conversations that we've had on this podcast so far this season, too much of a good thing easily becomes a bad thing.
I'm not following.
So, for example, conspiracy theorists, a lot of that stuff tends to start from true, actual facts.
Right.
And then people just blow it out of proportion.
Okay.
Like, for example, one of my favorite conspiracy theorists is who actually caused 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
We were both here when it happened. We got first person perspective of what actually happened.
Right.
But the conspiracy theorists say it wasn't the Taliban or Osama, anything like that. It was government conspiracy.
Right.
Now, there's very faint truth to that, and in terms of there's confirmed evidence that the government had knowledge of a potential attack like that taking place.
Okay.
Now, this is where it gets weird because that's the fact. Now, if they did their research, if they did their due diligence and saw that it was no potential threat and just left it alone and then it happened anyway, then no harm, no foul. We're all humans, we all make mistakes. Granted, that was a really grave mistake to make. But then the other side of that is they knew about it, but they thought, how can they benefit from it and allowed it to happen? That's where the conspiracy theories come into play.
Right.
You take a little bit of fact and you let your brain run wild with it. I feel like sometimes it's necessary because a lot of those conspiracy theorists, not a lot, but enough, have shown to bring out real facts through the conspiracy theorists. Like, it's kind of like tabloid papers. Like, tabloids are trash papers. However, at least a third of the content in a tabloid is true stuff. But because the other stuff is just automatically disregarded as garbage, they don't pay attention to the truth in it. I feel like conspiracy theorists is that same premise. I think I would say, from my personal opinion, they're a necessary evil. Because it does expose things that general people would be ignorant to because that's the way it's being presented.
Yeah, I would definitely say that there's a value in conspiracy theorists because they do start the conversation, and it's important for certain things to kind of spark in terms of public awareness because we live in whether you want to admit it or not, we live in a world of censorship. So when there's windows of knowledge or windows of possibilities beyond what we can see, it's an opportunity for us to grow in knowledge. If you're willing to do your actual homework and your research. Right. Because when a conspiracy has been come to light, rumors are now spinning off of the conspiracy. And now your absolute truth is rumors that have been built off of one premise, just showing that there's something in particular that is not right. Something doesn't seem right because things are not being done the way that we think they're being done. Right. But that doesn't mean that you suddenly now know how they're being done. No. You just know what's not supposed to. You know what I mean? Just because you realize what you thought was true is a lie, doesn't mean that you now know that truth.
Right.
You have to actually do that work and figure things out. You have to do that. investigation and that research on your own.
Right.
And when you're relying on other people to do that for you, that's how you wound up looking like a dummy.
But sometimes you come out of your element when you hit to that point. Like you need an accredited, skilled person in whatever that field is to be able to provide the evidence that you need.
Right.
Like, for example, the whole planet thing. Pluto being a planet and not being a planet. Granted, that's not a conspiracy theorist, but we can only understand so much of how the solar system works because we're not astronomers. We're not anything in a field to where we just have that knowledge.
Exactly. That's not our
We don't dedicate our time to gain that knowledge either.
No, we don't.
But we trust plenty of people that have a genuine interest in how those things work, that spend millions and millions of grant money and dollars and lifelong dreams to figure out the mysteries of the universe.
Right.
And we trust them because we assume, I would say no, but we're really assuming that they're coming from a genuine place to do the right research to present the correct results.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely a dangerous game when you put your faith and your knowledge into someone else's knowledge. You're assuming that they have a valid platform to begin with. That their premise is not faulty.
Some things you can easily attribute to being true or valid easily, to where you can then trust said person, like bringing the conversation more lighter, like music industry. You know, certain people make hit songs, make hit beats. Their track record speaks for itself. So it gets to a certain point, you don't even have to think about it.
Absolutely.
If Timbaland said, "I got a beat for you," you're not going to say, "Let me listen to it first."
That's
you're going to
true.
say, "Give me the beat."
Right.
You know, because he's already set the ground. Now, if the beat's trash and you become an anomaly that got a trash Timbaland beat, but he set himself up to where you know he's going to put out good work.
He has a reputation.
Exactly. It's the same thing like when it comes to like scientists and things like that. Like Neil deGrasse. I always miss it. He got that weird name, the black physicist.
No idea.
Here, let me look it up because I don't want to take too much time, but he's like a world-renowned black physicist, and he's like super smart, and he's wrote all this stuff and like backs it up, like a real scientist, not someone that's trying to get rich off it. Like,
that's good. I think when you're looking for information from anybody, you have to consider the source in terms of what are they about, not just necessarily what their discipline is, but you have to figure out what exactly motivates this person to continue to study, because there is a lot of people out there that do have the expertise, like you said, but just because they have the expertise, it doesn't mean that they're using that expertise for what you think they're using it for. If you look at all of those infomercials promoting all of these different pills and dieting pills, these are coming from doctors, but they're not using their medical expertise for this.
Those are pharmacists and paid for people.
A lot of them are paid doctors.
Right.
Doctors
that like a lot of them were like the doctors that got D's in like medical school, and like they don't get no clients.
Possibly. But I mean, your physician probably got a D in medical school.
I mean, C's get degrees. That's kind of like
a doctor that gets A's in schools become a surgeon, not a physician, because they all get the same education. Any doctor should know how to do brain surgery. It's
right. But how many doctors want to put a brain in their hand?
How many doctors can is the question.
I couldn't.
I can't. You're not a doctor.
Right, but even if I was,
neither.
I couldn't put a brain in my hand. It's gross. It's like pump.
It's time. It's about that time. It's about that time, Kendall, for you to hit us with the moral of the story.
All right. So the moral of the story is, if you're gonna start a rumor, you gotta have hands. Because if the person you start a rumor come back at you, you gotta be able to defend yourself.
Okay.
What? Bro, if you make a rumor up about me, and I'm in the vicinity to physically approach you about said rumor, I'm not coming to talk it out.
Okay.
So you better have hands to be talking crazy or making up stuff about people. I mean, the same thing is seen in schools all the time. Half the fights in school happen because someone started a rumor.
That's true.
Then
not even half, all of them.
Right, almost all.
I don't know any fight that ever started in school that had nothing to do with a rumor.
Right. Also, more to the story, conspiracy theorists are necessary evil. They're not crazy people. There's nothing wrong with them. They just have a very unique view as to how the world works, and they're very adamant that people see their unique view.
Okay. I feel you. Well, thank you for wrapping that up, Kendall. Make sure that you guys are subscribed to all of our social media. We are
comment,
on
subscribe.
Facebook. We are on Instagram. We are on
subscribe.
YouTube. Make sure that you hit us up on those things. Make sure that you check in for episode 5.
There you go. We finally got it.
Episode 5, which is going to be whether or not you should be celebrating the 4th of July this weekend. We got some things to talk about. We're going to get into some things. That's going to be a dirty one. I'm here for it.
I want all the smoke.
You gonna get all the smoke. Cause
that's fine. In the comment section, I'm telling y'all. In comments. I'm in there. At least for the first hour.
Now this. Thank you guys for kicking it with us for this far. And until next time, we see you guys next week.
Peace.